Are they going to arrest Vladimir Putin in Alaska or not? That's the big question that a lot of people have asked, because he's been accused by the International Criminal Court of being a war criminal. Well, the first very important point is that, the United States is not part of the International Criminal Court agreement. I mean, it's not part of the agreement or this international treaty that has been made by some countries, in which, the International Criminal Court could have jurisdiction, or I'm not sure what the right word is, but anyway, the court doesn't operate within the United States. So obviously he can't be arrested. Besides, since he's the president of a country, whether people like him or not, whether he became president one way or another, he couldn't be arrested. I mean, in the case of Maduro, for example, if he goes to the United States, he would probably be arrested. For two reasons. First, the United States doesn't recognize him as president, and second, he is according to the United States version, he is a boss of the Los Soles drug trafficking group. Something like that. Well, he would be immediately arrested. Let's say, in the case of Vladimir Putin, is he recognized as president? And since the United States is not part of the International Criminal Court, then there's no problem, let's say.
Yes, Bill Clinton began the process to join, but it was never ratified. Both George Washington, George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, Trump, and Joe Biden, they all avoided it. That's the reality, right? They don't want to because they're also afraid of being accused. So, by mid-2025, 125 countries were part of the Rome Statute, which are the ones that accept the International Criminal Court. And some of those who have signed it have invited Vladimir Putin, despite signing the Rome Statute Treaty.
The point is that Putin, as head of state, has immunity. That's important. International law grants sitting heads of state immunity, especially on official visits. Arresting him immediately would be a hostile act, like a conflict or even nuclear war. I mean, that's it. Just forget about it. No, he won't be arrested. He'll actually be fully protected. Because if an incident happens, like some crazy person or someone wants to do something to him and something happens to him, it could also be seen as something provoked, like something that was done on purpose. So everything just has to be secured. All of Russia's security will be there. All of Russia's security is there. And all of the United States security is there too. Working together to make the place as safe as possible in the world. At least for these two individuals, obviously, right? Russia is also not in the International Criminal Court. I mean, it withdrew from the Rome Statute. So, neither Russia nor the United States is part of that. So doesn't that mean they're untouchable in that sense? They are, in any case, heads of state, and in that matter, no, there are no possibilities. Now, the question is clear, right? I mean, if he visited another country that is part of that, what's it called? The Rome Statute could be involved, though it's strange there too, as that's where the issue arises. He's a president. Does that protect him or not? Either way, there'd be trouble.
Yes, basically it depends on whether the country where the war criminal goes actually detains him.
Exactly.
So generally what they do is just not come so they don't get into trouble.
So they don't get into trouble, exactly.
Putin was supposed to go to South Africa. They preferred only the ministries of foreign affairs, and foreign ministers attend to avoid this issue.
Exactly, 2002. It was when George Bush withdrew. Wait, is it Junior? Anyway, the point is he withdrew his approval, right? Yes, because it's Walker. He withdrew his signature starting in 2002. What Clinton had already done, they didn't go back on it, period. Trump, has gone even further. He has even sanctioned some officials of the International Criminal Court now. And basically, Trump says that with the sanctions, yes, exactly, he says that the International Criminal Court is irrelevant, that it's illegitimate. From Trump's and the United States perspective, the International Criminal Court currently makes no sense. Of course, because right now it doesn't suit them, because they started investigating Netanyahu and all that, so they didn't like that. They praised the International Criminal Court when it investigated Putin or others, but not this time, because it was their ally. Alright, this is Putin's first visit to the United States in 10 years. It's just a few more hours. This situation is really about to happen, and it's going to be a really juicy topic.
We'll see how things go here. Are we going to see a Trump in love or a miserable Trump?
Yes, I think they'll make him look in love. Yes, I think so. The most official and as classic as possible. Like, that's the style Trump has had with all these figures, not just with Putin, but even with himself. What's his name? Kim Jong-un? But whatever he says afterward will be something else. Right now, I expect the host will welcome him. But supposedly they're going to talk about business. Both sides will be offering business opportunities or exchanges. For example, between Alaska and what's Kamchatka, what's Russia, and that whole area, all those little islands, well, there's business there. So there's talk of a possibility, for example, of extracting oil in some areas where right now it can't be extracted because it's on the United States side. Maybe Russia could be interested. There are discussions about possible businesses there. It could happen, something, but who knows? For now, Celestis will be there. Attentive and nervous, probably because of what might happen there. And also Europe, because, well, they weren't considered at all. And now there's the theory that Europe might try to have a meeting with Putin. I mean, organize a meeting with Putin. If this isn't resolved or produces no results, right? I think it's difficult because Putin is really against Europe, right? And he gets along pretty well with Trump. So, well, I don't see it coming either, let's say. I don't see it coming for now. How are you, Wilkov, Cristina, Alfredo Mateo? Very good. Greetings to Tapatia, Jack Draper, and the whole community. Thanks to those with us. Mercedes Garces, thank you so much for supporting the channel, and thanks to the whole community as well. Tapatia, she says Telegram didn't notify her. Let's see, Tapatia, check it. Several notifications are sent. Let's see if at least one got to you. Check it, please. Let's see what's up. And thank you very much, by the way, to the community that I give a like to. And as it says here, Jack Draper says, likes. Well, yeah, give a hand with that like. It really helps the channel a lot. Hey, let's move on to other topics. Let's move on to other important matters. Hey, another important matter. Kim Jong-un's sister, do you remember him? Is his name Kim Jong-un? Isn't it all? What's Kim Jong-un's name? Kim Jong-un? Well, the one who's here on one side, to my left. In the camera, it's to my right. But anyway, Kim Jong-un's sister has been rejecting South Korea's versions on this issue. What's happening with the border loudspeakers?
Yes, since South Korea took down their loudspeakers a few days ago, they had claimed that North Korea was doing the same, that North Korea was also removing their loudspeakers because both sides had this sound fight. And actually, the sounds from North Korea did end up affecting the residents of this part of North Korea. The animals were already nervous. And well, Kim Jong-un's sister today is February, dismissed the South Korean claims about having removed their loudspeakers along the border. She mocked the Seoul government for clinging to the hope that friendship, or at least diplomacy, between the two countries will be renewed.
Well, this border has had many problems. As you may remember, the loudspeakers were set up along the border. Not everywhere, but at many points on both sides. And with that, they would send messages, sounds, and even sound waves that caused things like nervous breakdowns and so on. Really tough situations. Besides that, the balloons with faces, not the letter, but actual human and animal faces were being launched from North Korea to South Korea. Well, you already know how the back and forth has been, right? I think it was Kim Jong-un, or maybe even his sister. If you miss an opportunity they offer, you won't get another chance. Because that's how it's been with Trump and with South Korea, right? I mean, everything that was discussed and let's say kind of betrayed, so to speak, the agreements, it's like, okay, so I break it off and there's no possibility of dialogue anymore because there hasn't been any dialogue. I mean, zero dialogue. You just see how their power, let's say, keeps increasing, but no dialogue at all. Kim Jong-un speaks with Xi Jinping and Putin, but not his southern neighbor, and even less with Trump. You don't see that often. There are some possibilities, but let's move on to other important matters.